To give the call to the Honourable, the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister stated before the last election, and I quote, "If I'm given the great honour of holding high office as Prime Minister, I won't seek to blame anyone else. I'll accept the responsibility that goes with that job." Will the Prime Minister accept responsibility and admit he has broken his promise to provide cheaper mortgages and to cut power bills by $275 per year, a promise that he made on 97 occasions?
And I give order. Members on my left, I give the call. The member for Hume, I'll remind all members not to interject before a minister or Prime Minister has begun an answer. And if they continue to do that, they will be warned and asked to leave the chamber. Give the call to the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Those opposite won't take responsibility for anything that they did when they were in government. Nothing. The fact is that there was a pay increase, there was a price increase for energy scheduled by those opposite. Not only did they not take responsibility for it, they hid it. They hid it through a special regulation to make sure that the Australian people couldn't find out. But what others have said about energy is this: the Business Council of Australia. Mr Speaker, he's at it again.
Order.
He tries. He was supposed to be nice,
Leader
Peter,
of the Nationals.
but he can't survive to 2:05 without resorting to the old buffet.
Order. The Leader of the Opposition. It's far too much noise on my left. The member for Barker is warned. I'll hear from the Leader of the Opposition.
Well, Mr Speaker, on relevance, all I interjected was, can anybody trust a word this man says?
There's not a point of order. That is not. The Prime Minister is in order to continue with the answer and be heard in silence. Here's the call.
Mr Speaker, what we've just seen is one question asked by the Leader of the Opposition.
The Leader of the Opposition.
By the Leader of the Opposition.
The Leader of the Opposition will cease interjecting.
And
the Leader of the Opposition.
In between the interjections from the Leader of the Opposition, he then stands up and asks a different question while speaking about integrity and responsibility and taking into account what people say. He can't keep his word from 2:01 to 2:02. That's what we just saw. That's what we just saw for the Leader of the Opposition. But I'm asked about responsibility.
Members on my left.
And the Shadow Minister opposite,
the member for Deakin,
for Home Affairs, had something to say about responsibility during the week. She was asked about the fact that they not only had one minister sworn into her portfolio, they had another as well, because the member for Cook put in her extra.
Order.
And she said this: but it's not okay to behave in the way that a former Prime Minister and others have in relation to keeping information a secret.
Order.
So far, so good.
The Prime Minister will pause. When members on my left cease interjecting, I will hear from the member for McPherson.
Thank you, Speaker. I did absolutely say that. So now maybe he can move on and answer the question.
Resume your seat. Resume your seat. The member for McPherson is a long-term member of Parliament. First question. The Prime Minister's in order. If this behaviour continues, people will be asked to leave the chamber immediately without warning. The Prime Minister has the call.
Yeah, because she went on to say, I think it's just extraordinary. And then, all stacking up so far, Shadow Minister's pretty right, then she said, however, I think it's very disappointing that this information is coming to light now.
Member for Deakin.
That's what she had to say. And then it comes to the responsibility bit. And it does reflect very poorly on Prime Minister Albanese. So This Prime Minister appoints not one but two people in her portfolio, and it reflects badly on me. That says everything. That says everything about your incapacity to take responsibility for anything.
Concluded.